YouTube, YouTube, YouTube.
You know they can hear you. It's not muted. And there's already music.
It's no fun. You're ruining my fun.
Morning.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to WRME Live. For anyone who's actually seen Dr. Horrible Sing Along blog from like 10 years ago, that's what I was humming. You'll get it. But if you don't, that's also completely normal.
Sorry if it was over the other music. She forgot.
I forgot. It said mute. No, okay.
I was turning the music on.
Okay. If y'all ever get to meet me in person, I will almost always be humming something, singing along with the music in the background, or dancing to ringtones. Just how it is. It's the quirks that make me me. I'm not saying my dancing's good or my singing. It's just part of who I am. In the meantime, tons of stuff is going on in real estate, and it's ridiculous. And we're getting lots of people asking about contractors. Now, up front, every situation is different.
Yes.
We're going to be focusing on top-level questions to be keeping in mind no matter what you're doing. And then a few that will be more specific to certain situations. On that, the main question would be, is there a lender involved? If you have to get a lender involved for an add-on or for a pool, it's going to make working with a contractor different. Every lender's got a little bit different policy. Most frequently, in my experience, the contractor will have to get approved by the bank and have arrangements with the bank. And when the loan gets approved, they can draw from the bank X amount of money.
That's when we're talking about a builder, and you have a builder's loan to build.
Whether it be a pool, an add-on, or a new build, lender gets involved. It's all very different. But that's where those get even more complicated. Talk to your lender if one's involved. Now, for instance, if you just need your garage converted back to a garage, a lender didn't need to get involved, you have cash. There's some very good questions to keep in mind whether a lender's involved or not. The obvious one is get estimates. Mm-hmm. Not one, more than one, from various people. Because one might have a higher price and decent quality, one might have a lower price and lower quality, and you might find a guy that's got a reasonable price with good or great quality, and you don't know until you shop around.
Now keep in mind, sometimes on these projects it requires more than one person.
Yes.
You might need a licensed electrician, a licensed plumber, or whatever, not just your general contractor or handyman or whatever.
Who you think might be best for the job may not end up being the best for the job. I recently had a client reach out to me going, my front porch is flooding, I need a sump pump. I'm like, she was asking for like a plumber. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like a sump pump or a plumber thing. That sounds like an irrigation thing since it's in your front yard. And I gave her a list of various vendors and told her maybe a French drain would solve it, but leave it up to the guy who does irrigation. And if he says, no, this is a plumber thing, cool, I got a list of plumbers. But you don't exactly know until you start talking to people what is the best solution for you. So Bobby 1 might be like, this is your solution, and Bobby 3 might be like, this would be a better solution. And then you, as the homeowner, get to make a decision on how you pursue it based on costs. Is this the best long-term, etc.?
And that goes the same even if you're just having some paint work done, fencing done, normal handyman stuff, but you're just not capable of doing it or have the time to do it. Check on them. Ask for reference, talk to people, ask for reference of people they've currently done work for.
Mm-hmm. Also, estimate's kind of the obvious one that everyone asks, but plural is the key. Second thing is ask how much down. If they ask for all of it, go to the next person unless you know them. Because more often than not, especially if it's not a little $500 deal, if it's a $50,000 deal and they ask for all of it up front, something's not quite right. Normally, they only ask for what they need plus their contractor due on top of it, or we'll have an explanation as to why they asked for 15% down. If they don't have that and say, sorry, it's all or nothing, you go, Okay, I'm going to keep searching. I'll call you if I decide to use you. And then I highly recommend you not use them.
No, if it's $100 job and
Yeah.
majority of it's supply, or $200 job and half of it's for supplies, they might ask for half of it. Just go ahead and go get the supplies. Mm-hmm, so that's not uncommon.
And they have a logical answer. You could look it up at Lowe's and be like, yeah, fence panels are kind of expensive. That makes sense why they're asking for money. And Google's a wonderful reference for broad numbers on that. It's not the same across the board. Just if you think a fence panel's worth $10, go to Lowe's. They're not. They're worth way more than $10 right now. Next question would be, what kind of insurance do they have? There is usually some form of insurance that any general contractor, handyman, builder, etc., plumber, irrigation, they should have some form of insurance to protect their work. If they can't provide proof, you need to seriously think about moving to a different one, because life happens, and even if nothing malicious or bad was done intentionally, life loves to kick you in the liver.
What if they fall through your ceiling?
Gosh, yes, that's happened to us.
What
They
if
fall through
they
the ceiling.
accidentally break something when they're working in the garage?
What if they just up and disappear? You can call their insurance and be like, hey, they did this and this. I have this, this, and this to prove it. And every insurance is different. But what if they just, for lack of a better example, got COVID? They tried to call, but something was wrong with their phone, or their relatives didn't know to call.
Or they're in the hospital and have no phone.
So many reasons. And so that insurance can be, one, an additional way to contact family, and two, insurance that whatever went wrong gets corrected in one way or another. It just protects it, and if they don't have it, red flags, unless they're your cousin next door who does odd man jobs. Again, that's probably a lower level, less than $1,000 repair if you're asking for a cousin to do it, or something that might not have an error and omissions or any other types of insurance. Then there's the other questions, like what foreseeable issues are there? Right now, supply and demand. Roofs can take 3 weeks longer because there's so much demand and the supplies are taking a while to get here. Mm-hmm. Then you throw in, what if you just want to do your fence? You hire your cousin Bobby. Wood is up in expenses, and they may not have the quantity you need at your local Lowe's. A good contractor, handyman, whoever, will have a logical explanation for known foreseeable items. If something happens in their family, a medical thing, an emergency thing, that causes a week delay, a good contractor will contact you and go, my deepest apologies. There's going to be a delay due to a family emergency.
Now, mind you, once they get started, things could arise as they're doing the work. Something unexpected,
Weather.
unknown factor. Well, let's say you open up a wall and it's supposed to be an easy fix, and he opens up the wall and there's some issue with the 2x4s or something in
There's
there.
mold. That needs to be taken care
Whatever.
of. I still love the weather. Oklahomans get that weather is a problem. You're about to put a pool in. May should be a nice month. We're presently swimming. Not the best time to be putting in a pool. But that will cause delays. That's just how it is.
Yes.
And it wouldn't be the first time you got a new pool put in and then a tornado fixes that.
As always, communication. Make sure you have good communication with anybody you're working with, and that they have good communication with you. That goes a long way.
And also ask for how long it will take. That's usually a pretty normal question. And most contractors will say, on average, X, Y, or Z. Depending on this, based on your particular deal and past experiences, I estimate it will be 3 weeks based on this, assuming X, Y, and Z, the foreseeable issues.
And if you have to have wiring, electrical, gas lines, anything marked like that, that could delay too, depending on how quickly they can get out and mark. So take everything into consideration, and most people will let you know, hey, this needs to be marked. We've given them a call. They should contact you, or they should be out on this day, and then we can get started after that. So there is other variables sometimes.
Such as an appraisal. If a lender is involved, sometimes an appraisal occurs so they can justify doing the add-on and using the house as collateral for the loan, whatever their reasons are. Appraisals, like lumber, are backlogged. There's such a high demand right now that it can take longer than average to get an appraisal. Not always, but it can, especially when a lender has to use a random lender from a hat that has a ton on their plate. It's just, there's so many variables. And we could talk for ages. But hopefully this gave you some good things to be thinking about and asking about before you do that add-on or build a barn. And also one last one before I forget. Who pulls permits? If this is a big thing where you actually have to get the city involved to make sure you get permission to do the add-on without breaking any rules, find out who pulls permits. More often than not, it's going to be the contractor.
That's even for electrical work, some plumbing, you have to pull permits. And usually the contractor will know and let you know.
Or they'll say, I have a call to the city. Hopefully we'll have an answer in the next day or so. Or they're saying, I can call them and I hopefully have an answer in a day or so. They will find out who, but they'll tell you up front who's doing it, because in the past, we have had the occasional homeowner have to do the permits instead of the contractor, which, me personally, that raises some red flags. The contractor knows who to talk to and what to ask, compared to me, the homeowner, who doesn't know much about doing add-ons. But get a good contractor, ask those questions, so if nothing else, you know what you need to be doing if you really love everything they offer, but for whatever reason they can't pull permits with the city of Newcastle because of a beef with their cousin. I don't know. Whatever your thing is, just find out and ask those questions. But in the meantime, we could talk all day. Anything else we need to add?
Nope. Western Days in September. Woohoo!
Chuck wagon. Okay, focusing. We are WRME Live, where we do real life, real world real estate every day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.